How's it going, everyone? It's Yasser back with another video. Today I figured I'd make a video for you to get to know me more. I feel like we're at a very uncertain time and the only thing we can do is lighten up the mood now. So what I've done is I've actually opened up a page where there are about 36 questions that you can use to connect better with someone who you either know or someone new you're meeting for the first time. So I'm going to try to keep this whole video uncut. I'll answer some of these questions. I hope they're not as personal. I hope either way. I'll just try to answer them, and it'll give you a better idea of who I am. And if you're following my videos and you're interested in who I am as a person, this will provide you with some of that insight. So let's just get right into it. I'll read the question out loud, and then I'll give you my answer. Okay? And I haven't really gone through any of these questions before, so it's all new to me as well. Let's get started. The first question is: given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest? This was actually a question on my IELTS test as well, my IELTS speaking test. I said Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, the actor, the comedian. I have grown up watching all of his movies, The Mask, Ace Ventura. I absolutely love him. And the fact that he doesn't care about what other people think, he's just all over the place. He's genuinely funny. And at the same time, I think where he is in his life now, he's become very philosophical. He's talking a lot about meditation and those topics. And I feel like those are the two things I'm really interested in. And the fact that I've grown up with him, if there was one person I would like to take out to dinner, it would definitely be Jim Carrey, because not only would it be really entertaining, but I'd also learn something by the end of it. Next question: what would you like to be famous for, and in what way? Well, I want to be famous. By famous, I mean known around the world or known for. I want to be famous for having a good impact on someone. I just want to have a lasting impression where I've improved someone's life, I've made someone's day better, I've helped them through a certain problem. I want my existence in this world to be of benefit to other people. I don't want to be famous for, I don't know, having a huge butt or anything like that. I just want to be famous because I've helped someone. No matter how much impact I've had, if I've helped one person, that's more than enough for me. Question number 3. Before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you're going to say? All the time. Okay, first of all, I am terrified of phone calls. I know I've had social anxiety in the past, and I still have some of it now. When my phone rings, I want to wait till it stops ringing so I can either text the person back or I can just not. Being on the phone genuinely gives me anxiety. I don't like being on the phone. If I'm calling someone, I always have a script in my head. Okay, I'm going to say this, I'm going to ask them for this, and then that's how the call is going to go. And I remember when I was a teenager and I was calling up a girl or something to ask to go out somewhere, oh my God, it would take me hours of mental preparation just to dial that number, and I would stutter the whole 2 minutes before anything sensible even came out of my mouth. So yes, I definitely rehearse a million times before I make a phone call. When did you last sing to yourself or to someone else? Okay, I am a terrible singer. I don't know the lyrics to any songs because most of the music I listen to is really weird, but I sing out random things around the house that make no sense, and usually it's around my friends. I never sing to myself because it's not very entertaining. But I'll just find a phrase in a video that I liked or a phrase that my friend have said, and I'll just repeat that in various different tones. So I think the last time I sang was probably yesterday or day before yesterday. Okay, number 6. If you were able to live of the age of 90 and retain either the mind or the body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of life, which one would you want? So I'd either have the mind or the body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years. I feel like when you're older, you're a lot more wiser. You've got a lot more knowledge. But I guess from a memory perspective, it's probably not great. Oh man, that's a tough one. I would probably take the mind. I feel like if I'm on my way out, if I'm getting old, I would rather have the thoughts and memories of the people in my life rather than to forget about that. The body is great, but if I'm 70 years old, what am I going to do with my athleticism? Go run a marathon until I die? I mean, yeah, I'll definitely keep the mind. Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die? Okay, well, this is getting really morbid really fast. You know what? I feel like it's weird. I feel like I'm not going to die of natural causes. I'm either going to go fly, what do you call it, parachuting, and the parachute's not going to open, or I'm gonna die of some random thing that I didn't even know about. I woke up one day and I had it, and I'd be dead the next day. This is so, it's like morbid to think about, but I don't know. That's the only thing I've had in mind. I've never really thought about it too much. But yeah, this is taking a very dark tone. I don't know who made these questions here. Name three things you and your partner appear to have in common. Okay, well, I'm from Pakistan, obviously. Pakistani abroad. My girlfriend's from India. So we naturally, because of where we're from, we have a lot of differences because of the culture, but also a lot of similarities because of our culture. The kind of food we enjoy is pretty much the same. The diet we're on, I eat vegan diet. She eats mostly a vegan diet. We really enjoy productivity based things. We're always looking for new ways to increase our productivity, reduce our anxiety. We're doing meditation challenges, dietary challenges. We work out, we run marathons together. So there are a lot of good things I can say about this woman. She's amazing, but we're definitely two people who aspire to be better, and we make each other better by doing that. So that will be that. For what in your life do you feel the most grateful? Lately, you know what, given the current situation going on, just the fact that I've got a roof over my head, I don't have to worry about having food in the fridge, and the fact that I still have a job, those are the things I'm immensely grateful for, because there's so many people going through so many things. And when you put that into perspective, when you think of all the things you have yourself, it makes life a whole lot easier. So I try to give myself as much reason to be grateful for the tiniest things. Even if I wake up and I can feel the sun shining on my face, got to be grateful for that as well. If you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be? Interesting. I was growing up in a very Western-oriented, not a Western-oriented family, but I was always pushed into more English content, more Western content, both from my dad and from my mom. And they weren't forcing me to do it or anything, and I'm glad they did, because my English has been pretty good. It's been, I feel like I had a very good start with English, but I feel like I don't know where I am culturally, because, well, I know where I am. I'm Pakistani. I've grown up there and all that, but my mind has always been influenced by Western culture. So now that I'm here in Canada, I feel a lot more home here than I ever did back home, even though I grew up there. So nothing to do with how I was raised, but just because of how I was raised. That actually doesn't make sense. Anyway, I think because of the way I was raised, I'm not in one pool or the other. I'm kind of like in both of them, and that kind of gets me confused sometimes. So I'm not sure what the situation is, what the solution for that will be, but yeah, if I was less of an introvert, that would have helped, but I don't know if the way I was raised really made me an introvert, but don't have a good answer to that question. Okay, next up, we've got take 4 minutes and tell your partner your life story in as much detail as possible. Okay, we don't have 4 minutes, and I don't have my partner in me, so I will tell you my story in about 30 seconds. I grew up in Pakistan, in a city called Karachi. I grew up there. I went to high school. I was really interested in art and space and dinosaurs. I loved those things growing up. I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be an archaeologist, up until I went to my school teacher and she said, "You can't be any of those things. Pick something else that makes you some money." So I was like, okay, I wanted to be a scientist, but I was sucky at physics. Eventually, I stumbled upon video games, and those video games sucked the life out of me, and I just stayed in my room for the most part, and I became an introvert. And now that I came to university after that, I realized how much time I had wasted there, how much time I wasted staying in my room, not making friends, not building my social skills. And now one of the major things that I want to do with my life is build my own social skills, help other people build their social skills, and that's my new life purpose. I should put that on my resume. I think that came out very well. Okay, what else do we have? If you could wake up tomorrow and have gained one ability, what would that be? Oh God, if I could stop caring what other people think, that is all I want. Either that or having the ability to persuade someone. I think persuasion is probably the most powerful skill of all you can have, but for me, in order to enjoy my life more, if I could just not have that constant anxiety, which just comes from no reason, that no one's saying anything, no one's expecting anything out of me, but I just feel anxious. If I could not feel that, that would be amazing. If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, what would you want to know? I would just want to know, if I'm on my deathbed, if I'm about to die, have I benefited people in this lifetime or not? And if I have, great, I can die in peace. If I haven't, well, I'm going to tell my next of kin, don't do what I did in my life, do something else, make an impact. Is there something that you've dreamed of doing for a long time? Why haven't you done it? Yeah, I have dreamt of, it's going to sound really weird, but I have dreamt of getting myself a nice little cabin in the middle of a forest or in a remote location where I can just have a couple of books, have maybe my camera, very little outside influence, and just kind of be a hippie for the rest of my life. I feel like that's who I am as a person. I like being alone. There's nothing wrong with being alone and just being out in the wilderness, being out in nature. I really enjoy that. The reason I haven't is because I'm broke. I don't have enough money to buy myself a cabin in the middle of the forest. And I do like civilization because I get to earn money. So eventually, maybe when I'm closing in on my retirement age, I'll consider that later on. What is the greatest accomplishment of your life? I feel the greatest accomplishment of my life is when my dad told me that he was proud of everything that I've accomplished. And I think there's nothing more you can be proud of. You can be proud of a lot of things that you've done for yourself, but when the very people who've put in their life and soul into you trying to make something of yourself, achieve something of yourself, if they're happy with what you've done, at least for me, that was the biggest accomplishment. So I'm glad I have very proud parents. What do you value most in a friendship? I would say honesty without any sugarcoating. I like my friends who can tell me how things are without having to BS their way around it. I can take feedback. I can take it no matter how rude you have to be. Just tell it to me straight. I really appreciate that. What is your most treasured memory? Wow. I was actually meditating this one time, and I was thinking, I don't even know how I had this memory in my head, but I remember seeing the stars and just like I was floating, almost like I was in a boat or something. But then the memory was actually of me in my dad's arms while he was carrying me in at the nighttime, just walking around, and I was staring at my dad's face, and he looked 20 years younger in my head as well. I don't know why I have that memory in my head. I don't know where it came from, especially when I was that young, and the fact that it's still in my head is amazing. But even now when I think about it, it's so vividly present that it's definitely one of those things that makes me feel grateful for where I've come from. We're getting really deep into this, aren't we, man? We gotta slow down with this. What's next? What is your most terrible memory? Wow, okay, great. So this really cranked it up, didn't it? Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this one light as well. One of the most, I think, terrible memories for me comes from regret. Things that I didn't do. Someone very close to me was in their final days, and I didn't know it until they passed away. And up until that point, I felt that I hadn't spent as much time with them as I could have. I was too isolated, too focused on doing the things I wanted to do. And once they passed away, there was no going back from that. So that's one of the biggest regrets that I have in life, not spending time with people I love when they're around. If you know that in 1 year you would die suddenly, what is with these questions, man? Why is it all about death? If you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you change anything about the way you are living now? Yes. I would be in contact with most of my friends and family, and I would regularly tell them how much I appreciate their presence. I don't think I do that enough because I'm just too selfish and I'm too introverted. I don't like reaching out to people. I feel like it's weak if you reach out to other people and you need them in your life, you're weak. I don't know why I've got this weird mentality, but I love to change it. All right, what else do we have? What roles do love and affection play in your life? I do love the things that I like doing on a daily basis. I'm in love with the grind. I'm in love with the process of it. I wouldn't be making this many YouTube videos. In terms of affection, I feel like I'm not a very affectionate person in the sense that if I'm in a relationship, most people will tell me, you're too emotionless. It's not a lot going on here. You don't really, you're not jealous or you're not envious. You don't say things that are on your mind. I don't know how to help that. I'm just not. I have my moments when I'm affectionate and I'm loving and I'm caring, but generally I'm a very, it's okay. That's just my general attitude. Okay, what else we got? Let's see. Okay, some of these are really personal. Complete this sentence. I wish I had someone with whom I could share dot dot dot. I wish I had someone to share this apartment with right now because my roommate has been AWOL for the past month or so. Well, he's living with his girlfriend at the time, but he does drop by here every now and then. But yeah, it'd be kind of nice to have someone around, just chill and make conversation. So, roommate, if you're watching this, I would like for you to come back because I'd really enjoy your company. Okay, what else have you got? If you were going to become a close friend with your partner, please share what will be important for him or her to know. If I was going to be a close friend with my partner, well, I am close friends with my partner. Why else would they be my partner? Well, I would want them to know that I'm extremely selfish and I only think about myself because I think that's really important. I have very few lapses where I'm thinking of someone other than myself, and that's only in my personal life. In my professional life, I'm very selfless. I try to do as much as I can, but I feel like when it's me time, when it's Yasser putting in the work time, I'm just, that's all I do. Okay, what else we got here? Your house containing everything you own catches fire. After saving your loved ones and your pets, what would you make a final dash to save? I would definitely, without a doubt, save my laptop because it has all of the videos I've ever made, all of the things that I've made that are to be published, all the documents I've got. Not a doubt about it. And I'm not someone who has a whole lot. Like if you look at my apartment here, it's very, very empty. There's not a whole lot going on here. Okay, I messed up my whole setup. Okay, so those are some of the questions I had. The other ones are really emo, man. They're like, share with your partner, what did you cry about last time? Tell us about something that you were extremely embarrassed of. Okay, you know what? I can actually share that story. What am I really embarrassed of? So many things I can think about. Well, in my time in university, I did this thing where I would go out into public spaces and I would lie down on the ground. And this was a social experiment to see how I react to a lot of people looking at me. And it was probably the most embarrassing thing I've done because you'd go to a Starbucks or you'd go to the middle of the university, you'd go to a mall, you would go to public places, conferences, and you just lie down in front of 300, 500, 1,000 people and they're just like, okay, what is this guy doing? But it really taught me about how I perceive other people looking at me, how much I care about other people, how not to care about it. It was actually a great experiment, great TED Talk as well. It's called How to Be More Confident in 30 Seconds. I would really encourage you to check it out. It was awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to find a few more questions before we wrap this up. I think it's getting a little too emo. How do you spend too much, what is this question? What do you spend too much time doing? Definitely checking out my YouTube channel and how it's going. I feel like I upload a video and then I'm watching it to see, okay, this video, people like this video, people didn't like this video, make more types of this video, more types of the other videos. I like making videos about things I'm interested in that I'm hoping other people are interested in as well, but most of the time what happens is people come to my channel for a specific kind of content, like study abroad, studying in Canada, all of that stuff. So when I want to talk about something like diets, mentality, social anxiety, people are like, yay, we don't care about none of that stuff. Go back to talking about studying in Canada. So that's why I started my new channel called The Improvement Journal. This is where I talk about all my self-improvement stuff, and I think it's giving me a good creative outlet. Now I'm spending a lot of time on that new channel and this channel as well. What is a new habit you want to form or quit? One thing that I'm always trying to quit is my screen time. I have quit Instagram. I spend less than an hour a day on my phone, but I spend way too much time on YouTube. I watch video after video after video, learning after learning, and just it's too much time. I've been trying to cut out my screen time, but especially when you're stuck indoors and you've got nothing to do, you kind of got to watch some videos, right? So if I had to choose, I would really, really like to cut that down. Where would you like to travel now? The nearest forest I can find, honestly. No, something with a great view, something with a great vista. I like places that are nice and serene and peaceful. I'm not a big city guy. Don't like the noise and the sound. I like peace and tranquility. That's more my jam. What's the craziest thing you've ever done in your life? Ooh, okay. Well, my whole crazy spree started in university when I was doing all these social experiments. The lying down thing was definitely out there. I remember I did a high five challenge where I high fived everyone every day. I had to high five at least 100 people every day. That was pretty intense. I would say my 10-day meditation retreat is probably up there. I went for 10 days to a facility in the middle of a forest, of course, where I wasn't allowed to read, write, talk to anyone, make eye contact, no physical contact, no technology, no internet, meals 2 times a day. The last meal was at like 11 or something, sleep at 9 o'clock, wake up at 4 o'clock, meditate 10 hours a day. Doesn't sound like fun, it probably wasn't, but that was an interesting experience. What one thing would you like to tell me about you? Would you like to tell me? No, okay. What's one thing I would like to tell you about me? Okay, if you're watching my video for the first time, I am someone who is inherently obsessed with getting from point A to point B, and if I don't get to point B, I get depressed. Like if I'm sitting indoors right now and I can't do anything, the only reason I'm making these videos is because I like progressing, I like doing things, I like working, right? I don't like sitting and doing nothing. And I am someone who needs to constantly progress at something, otherwise I lose my mind. I wish I could spend the whole weekend on Netflix and do nothing else, but I can't. That's a curse I have. I just am not able to. So I get really depressed if I don't have something worthwhile to put my time into. Last question. What's one thing you like to do in a day that makes your whole day happy? Whoa. I feel like happiness for me comes from things that I don't do rather than the things that I do. I find that when I'm not delivering the things that I promised myself, like, okay, you decided you're going to eat healthy, you're going to work out today, you're going to meditate, all of that. When I don't do these things, for some reason I feel depressed because I've made a promise to myself and I haven't delivered it. So one thing that consistently makes me feel good is racking up a ton of wins during the day, at the start of the day, having 5 things I'm going to do, and then the next day I have done all those 5 things. I go to bed, I'm like, every single goal I had today has been met, good to go. That's what makes me happy. So those are all the questions I could find. I will probably do one of these again. I feel like this one got really personal really fast, didn't it? But I hope this gave you some information about me, who I am as a person, because we're locked up here. There's not a whole lot to do, and if there's something I can do to make your day a little bit better or just get to know you a little bit more, help you know me a little bit more, that's going to go a long way in these times. So let me know what you thought of this video, or let me know what you thought of my comments. I did this whole 23-minute spiel without any editing. Did you enjoy this kind of content? Did you enjoy me talking for this long? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like the video, subscribe. See you in the next one. Take care.